Hey, this is Jason Moss with the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance and Manufacturing News Network. I've got a great call lined up for you today. We're going to be talking to Toni Merton, and she is the HR manager for Fulfillment Strategies International. FSI is a great friend and partner of GMA, and they've been engaged with our organization for many years. Seth Gillen, I was talking to him a while back, talking about the game plan, what was going on in the manufacturing space, and this call series. And Seth at the time said, when you get ready, let's talk a little bit on the fulfillment side of the house and how that's impacting the supply chain. So again, we're super thrilled to have Toni on the line with us. I will ask, kind of as we kick this thing off, Toni, I'd like to introduce yourself, if you would tell us a little bit about your role at FSI and tell us who FSI is. We got people from all over the country and probably all over the world by now listening to these calls. But share with us a little bit about FSI and what you guys do and what you bring to the marketplace.
Hi, everyone. My name is Toni Merton, and I am the HR manager here with Fulfillment Strategies International. The company has been in business for the last 26 years. We are a third-party logistics company, so we warehouse, pick, pack, ship, and process orders for various clients, both locally, nationally, and internationally. Currently, we have around 90 full-time employees with an additional, at any given time, about 25 to 50 temporary employees. Currently, we have two locations, two warehouses that we work out of, but we are in the process of moving and combining both of those locations into one larger location in Douglas County. So we're very excited about that and are in the midst of that move as we speak. So we'll be in the throes of that for the next several weeks.
Nice. Fun times. Well, I tell you, it's interesting how this call series is sort of evolved. When we first started doing these calls and talking to industry leaders and talking to our friends in the manufacturing and supply chain space, it was, again, several weeks ago, and we were having the conversation, not being alarmist. We didn't want anybody to freak out. We didn't want anybody to go buy trailer loads of toilet paper and, abscond with that, but some have. Not because we did it, but
Right.
that's the path that some people have taken. But that being said, we did want to kind of prepare people and get people sort of thinking about it. But now, with the new guidance that we've received from the World Health Organization and especially the CDC, I know that my wife is a teacher in Barrow County, and not just Barrow County, but a huge number of schools have been closed in Georgia, as they have nationwide. I know that's having an impact in a lot of companies different ways, but now we're kind of in the middle of this coronavirus outbreak. We want these calls to be timeless, though, because I believe that if we're well prepared for any kind of business interruption, this is a great opportunity for us to test out our business continuity plans across the board. If you don't, a lot of folks that I've talked to recently have called and said, we don't have anything like that. We want to be able to develop a business continuity plan. We have resources for our subscribers on the back end of our webpage that you can go to that'll give you some insights and some tools to be able to build one, or even if you have one, kind of just double cross check to make sure that you got everything covered. So business continuity,
Right.
And having that plan in place, great thing to do with or without the coronavirus. But since we're testing out our systems now, that's what we're going to talk about today is what you guys had in your system, how it's working, what results are you seeing from it, and we're going to kind of bounce around a little bit today. And you being an HR leader in the space, although you don't manufacture products and you're in the fulfillment space, I know that you fulfill products and for companies, like you'd said, all around the country and all around the globe. But tell us a little bit about, how you're dealing with staff callouts for sick employees. That's one of the hot topics right now, both for sick employees and also for, have you run into yet any of the challenges with either single parents or employees that you're working with that are finding challenges with childcare if they've got school age kids?
Yes. Well, luckily for us, we have not had too many impacted at this particular point in time. We do have some employees with younger children who, of course, have, the schools are closed now, so childcare, has been an issue for some, and we are working with those individuals, on a case by case basis because luckily it has not impacted us to the point where it is creating a problem. Other employees are very understanding to those who have had to call out or be out, for these reasons. We utilize our floating holiday and PTO policies so they can have that time available to be there for their families and do what they have to do, while other employees understand the workload on them individually may increase a little bit more as we get through this, and we've all been fine with it. I think one of the best things that we can do is to be in constant communication with our employees, letting them know, what's going on, what the recommendations, have been with the World Health Organization and the CDC, because of course we're taking our cues from them. And, we have things already in place, such as email blasts, text messaging blasts, messaging through our payroll company and different things of that nature. So I think keeping them informed, trying to keep them, as calm as possible, and just letting them know that we're doing everything, that is suggested for us to do right now. And luckily, nobody has been, severely impacted at this point.
Right, and that's great. That's great to hear. I'm love to hear that you guys are keeping your folks healthy and safe, which you've been focused on that from way before this ever started. One of the things that different companies are having the opportunity to try out is the opportunity to work from home. But I know that your business, you get truckloads and trailer loads of product in, and then you divide it up and pick, pack, and ship it specific to orders. So that's not something that can be transferred to a home base opportunity. So the work from home, not really an issue or an opportunity for most of the folks on the floor, on your shop floor. How about, some of the office support staff? Are you giving them the opportunity? Are you encouraging them if they can work from home or work remotely? Is that something that you guys have been able to implement so far?
Yes, there are several employees that work on the office side that would have the opportunity to work from home should it come down to that. And we actually have had a couple already last week who have had to utilize that, as long as they're available for phone calls and emails and different things of that nature. So we have utilized that as much as possible for those who need it, and we can do that. But as you said before, in terms of actually shipping and receiving the product, that is impossible to do from home.
Kind of hard to do that from the house. Yeah, I got that for sure. And actually today's Monday, the 16th of March, and this is the beginning of a 2-week, kind of the initial 2-week coronavirus conversation, trying to get as many businesses to allow their employees to work from home as possible, to social distancing, as again, that's been explained by the World Health Organization and CDC. That's critical, I believe, now for the coronavirus and what we're facing. It's just the wise thing to do. Now, we have a small staff. There's a total of 4 of us. I'm going to be coming into the office because it just helps my sanity not to be working from home. But the rest of the team,
totally understand.
Yeah, and we're going to have them working remotely. And so we're doing team meetings using Zoom. And like we're doing this call, it's great because if you can and you've got camera available, it's great to get the interaction that makes it that adds a lot of value, and it helps with the communication, I believe, as best you can. If you can use Zoom, it's a great tool. You had mentioned something about you got a texting tool Do you mind sharing what you guys are using for as far as technology, reaching out to your employees?
Yes, actually, we are signed on with ADP,
Okay, yeah,
and it's wonderful. There's a variety of different things that they have to offer, but one of the things is that I can go on and blast a message out to all of the employees that will actually come through the ADP app and send them a text message.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. That ADP is a great organization, and they bring some really cool things to the table. And I'm glad to hear that you guys are using some of those tools and communication. I believe you mentioned it early on. Communication is the key. The more we can engage our team, let them know what's going on, kind of pull back as much of that fear and uncertainty as we can, and let them know that stuff's going to change, and we got to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And the more
Absolutely. I just think that, between that, because of course you have some that stay glued to their phones. So, of course, if they like getting text messages, it's very quick. We have others that will prefer email. We also make sure that we keep our greeting up to date on our phone so they can always call in to the office for
right.
any changes. And all of our supervisors and managers, have their individual employee list to stay one-on-one with their employees as well. So I just think the more opportunities there is to communicate, then we have a better chance of reaching everyone and answering any questions as they come.
Right. Because we were getting bombarded, with media and all the information in the news about what's going on and what we should be doing and kind of how we prepare for it. The more information we can give them, I think it's better for everybody. Well, and this may be a silly question to be asking at this point, but what about travel restrictions in and out of your facility? Is trade shows pretty much globally have been shut down, best I can tell. I'm not aware of any show that's going on right now. We're in the events business, and we got a big trade show coming up in September. We fully expect everything to be clear by then. But is there any travel restrictions? I'm assuming that you guys have kind of put a few pieces in place around that.
We have not. We only have actually 3 employees at the moment that would travel, for the job. So we just ask them to, take extra precautions and just be conscious if they are visiting clients or different things of that nature. But in terms of like the trade shows and the conferences, I know personally a conference that I was to attend, a SHRM conference next week, has been postponed until August. So I think a lot of those organizations and activities have done it for us.
Yeah. Well, the new guidance actually just came out yesterday or last night, that the new guidance from the CDC strongly recommended to limit and postpone or delay any meetings with or gatherings with more than 50 people. And that's a big mark compared to what, not long ago it was just 1,000 people, right? Gathering
Right.
1,000 people or more. Now it's 50. That's a pretty significant shift. Again, I think it's wise that we do that. We follow that guidance. It's going to make a big difference, I believe, long term. But it's changing the game for a lot of folks. I'm in the events business. Last year we had about 3,500 people attend events that we hosted, and we host live events year round. That's what we do. And everything that we've got on the books, other than the summit that we've got lined up in September, we've pushed everything to past April 15th, and we're just playing by ear from there. But and that's why we're going virtual with this. As an organization, facilities are saying, corporate said that we can't bring any non-essential personnel into our facility, so that's okay. We're gonna serve our members differently now. I'm excited about the new format. It's a different game, but we're having the opportunity to reset and again serve our members with different tools. And now we got a little bit of time to be able to dig in with them and make sure we figured out all this technology and leverage it to the best of our ability. So schools in y'all's area are closed now, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I got you. And we talked a little bit about work from home. And what about health and safety? Have y'all done anything in that arena? Anything, new or different? as it relates?
Well, yes, we always provide hand sanitizer, hand sanitizing wipes, Lysol sprays, different things of that nature. But we did order just a few more bottles than normal about a week or so ago.
Right.
Because, and I'm glad we did because they're no longer available online anymore.
Yep.
And just let them know that instead of wiping down your space and the doorknobs and the handles and the light switches on a periodic basis, that we need to be doing that daily, multiple times a day. And one of my employees actually came up with a pretty good idea of adopt a door. So instead of just doing your particular area, you take on or be responsible for a door or a doorknob or a light switch that's in a common area, so that we know that that one is getting touched every day as well.
Right. That's a great idea. A great idea. And again, sharing these best practices, that's exactly why we're doing this, and I will pass that one along if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind that at all. I thought it was a great idea when they came to me on Friday.
Yeah, I got you. So what, again, we briefly touched on this. We know that you guys are not, using manufactured components, but have you guys seen any impact on the supply chain as far as materials coming in for your customers or going out? I mean, have you seen any disruption in product delivery or, managing fulfillment for any of your customers? Again, either up or downstream in the supply chain.
Actually, I have not at the moment.
Okay.
Everything seems to be going, pretty smoothly, and we do have, backup vendors for things like our packing materials and whatnot. But we always, try to have some inventory on hand for our customers, so that we can get that out to their, customers when the orders come in. So at the moment, we have not been, impacted by it. But I assume as this goes on, more than likely it will. And again, I think at that point, that's where communication, will come in to communicate both to our clients and to the customers, what's going on, and, that we, have to follow the guidelines, as they were, but we try to, service them as best we can. But yeah, right now we're fine. So
Okay.
We'll see what happens as time goes on.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds cool. And we all have to be flexible. I mean, our customers are expecting the solid product that we've always delivered. But I think that we need to be, as gracious as we can with our suppliers, as we hope to be, with our customers, as we hope to receive. So now, as mentioning customers, have you guys seen any kind of increase or decrease or shift in customer demand, or new customers, maybe customers not renewing or changing the way that their order flow is? Have you seen much shift in that so far?
I haven't seen a lot of shift in it. I mean, this is typically the time of year outside of, holidays, where it's just a little bit slower than it normally is anyway. We have the big rush during the holidays, of course. So typically February to about April is a little slower than usual anyway, and then it picks back up in the spring. So right now we're right on track to continue the trends that we have in the past.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. That's great, because we've seen some pretty dramatic shifts with some of our customers. Some of them are, in different industries, are having to really scale back because the demand for their product is not nearly what it normally is this time of year. And some have just exploded. I mean, our buddies down in Albany at the Procter & Gamble facility we toured not long ago, they make Charmin and Bounty, and they are killing it. I mean, they're doing
I bet.
And we're seeing a shift. We're seeing a shift in the dynamics of the workflow, so that people are getting properly positioned. As a matter of fact, we have a really great. We have our first roundtable. We're going to do a human resources roundtable call on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. This is my formal invitation. If you're available, I'd love to have you sit on that, give a little bit of insights. But we're going to be opening up roundtable discussions for for industry leaders, we have 6 different categories. This one and the first one on the next one on Thursday are going to be open to the general public, but we do have a subscription base. So following those 2 calls, everything will be for subscribers that want to sit in on these different calls. So we're going to do one for finance, we're going to do one for HR, we're going to do one for executive leadership, but this
Awesome.
HR one I'm really excited about, because there's some people that have some unique tools to be able to help for flexible workforce that I think are going to that I know are already making a big impact in situations like that. When there's a huge demand or there's an excess in capacity for some of this workforce. So we've got some cool stuff that we're going to be talking about Tuesday at 10, and I'll send you some more information on that. But
thank you.
And so what about again, are you seeing of all the stuff that we talked about? We're going to be reaching out to some of our friends over in the more affected areas across the globe. I've got a couple calls into some folks over in Italy, and to see how they're sort of working through. They're a few weeks ahead of us in this process, so we'll be asking some questions about that. But I'm just going to open this up for you. Do you have any specific questions that you would ask for either somebody overseas or in different parts of the U.S. About what's going on in the supply chain, in manufacturing? Are there any questions that we need to add to this list of questions that we've talked about today out in the marketplace? Anything that you're curious about or would like to know more about?
Well, I know that some of the employees have expressed concern with, receiving in merchandise from various places. Can they, contract the virus that way? And, again, we've just been, telling them that, use your gloves, use the sanitizing materials that we have, and I really, that's really all that we can do, at this particular point.
Sure.
So what would some of the employees overseas, well, I know they've been shut down pretty much. Am I correct in that, especially your, okay.
Yeah.
So none of that is happening, but what are they doing, personally, at home, or how are they getting in even personal supplies, to take care of their families? That would be, something that I would like to know, that I'm sure other employees here, that if in the event that happens here, what could we do to make sure that, life continues at as normal as possible while they're, at home?
Right. Well, that's great. That's fantastic questions. I promise you, I'll pass those along and get some insight from people that have blazed that trail, that have gone, plowed that ground we hadn't been to yet. But the feedback, some of the things that I've already received in those conversations are prepare. Ideally, you want to be prepared for you and your family for 2 weeks, to be able to have access to food, water. Again, water and power are not that big of a thing. Our friends in the utility space, I know Georgia Power and EMC have changed up. They're not doing any kind of power disconnects. I know that Atlanta City, they're going to do the power and water. There's no disconnects scheduled if somebody's unable to pay. In Italy, what they did was they quarantined off. This year we went, actually back in November, my wife and I took our first Italy trip together. And beautiful country, awesome people. Got to see some amazing things over there and made some connections. And one thing led to another, and I started talking to them a little bit about it. And they, one of the guys I was talking to is a plant manager, and he was in an area that was not in the hot zone at the time, because they quarantined off basically like northern Italy and Venice. And he's like, we're good, everything's cool, we're not in the hot zone, and even the people in the hot zone are continuing to work. Everything's okay, just life is normal, you just can't leave town. And then the next week, then they quarantined the whole country. They said no travel in or out. This is just how we're going to do that, and no travel between cities unless you have to, unless it's medical or you're getting food. But you could still work. Now, the guy that I was working with, we kind of got disconnected a little bit, because his communication is primarily through his work, and he was an hour and a half from work, so I guess he's no longer going into work. The other side of it
Right.
is, he said, but then they locked it down even tighter. They said the only thing that you can either go to the hospital or doctor or grocery store is the only thing that's open in Italy now. So
Wow.
people are, you know, they're stressing a little bit. I would encourage, you know, I mean, and not official government guidance, but Jason's guidance, never hurts to have a couple of weeks worth of, you know, supplies in the event that travel is more challenged, or that the supplies for you know, are get a little even more limited. So I know we've been out of town this weekend, and my son went to the grocery store. He said the shelves at Kroger are just clean. There's nothing hardly.
Mhm.
The canned food aisle and the bread, you know. I didn't go. I mean, you know, we did some preparation about a month and a half ago, which I'm thankful that we did. But be prepared. One of the things that I'm gonna encourage people every time we get on these calls and we talk about it, you know, if you're taking care of yourself, I'd encourage you to take care of yourself and your family, but also look around in the community, because there are people out in the community that don't have the resources to be able to take care of themselves. I mean, yeah, there might be you know, employees that might be, you know, just making it, you know, check to check. It never hurts to, you know, to find somebody else that you can be a benefit to and help them. Pick up one extra can of beans and share that with somebody in your community that might not be able to have access to, you know, some extra funds to prepare. So again, our encouragement is to, you know, for sure take care of you and take care of your family, but figure out how you can give back and how else you can help and bless somebody else, you know. Because there's folks that
Exactly.
don't have the opportunities that we have, and are not as blessed as we are. So I'd encourage you
That's
to pay it forward if you can.
absolutely. And one of the things that you know, I'm pretty plugged in to the community through HOA association websites and Facebook pages and the churches. I know for sure through Fulton County Schools, they've communicated that they are continuing the meal plans that our less fortunate students uh, if they were on the plan, they're continuing that. They can still drop by the schools and pick up their meals, because for a lot of them, that is the meal that they get,
Yep,
breakfast and lunch. So I know Fulton
it's
County schools
huge.
are doing it. I'm sure there's some other local schools that are doing it.
Mhm.
Food banks, churches. I encourage people to, you know, reach out to organizations such as that to see what is available for them, because I know everybody may not be able to afford, you know, to go out and buy 2 weeks worth of, you know, food and supplies.
Yeah, yeah, and love on folks. I mean, you know, I think that, you know, everybody, you know, not everybody, but a lot of folks are on edge, and a lot of folks, you don't know
Yes.
what they're going through in their life. You don't know what the challenges they've got. You know, but be gracious, you know, and all of us need to work on, you know, make sure that we're as patient and as loving and as kind as we can be to everybody that we touch, because you don't know what they're going through in their space. And if you can be a benefit to them, try to figure out who you can help and how you can help them out of it. That's one of the pieces that we're pushing for, you know, because you might be, you know, spending a lot more time with your spouse at home. um, I love that. I love that my wife is going to be home for the next 2 weeks, but I'm going to be at the office for the next 2 weeks. It's all going to be cool. I say that in jest. I say that in jest. So, but we got to have fun with it, guys. You know, I mean, as best we can.
Yes.
We got to do the best we can with what we have. And Toni, this information, I will definitely be doing some more research on how you're, you know, if there's any guidance on, you know, working through processing products that's being shipped in and out, and then also, you know, on how supplies are coming in for the, you know, for the general homeowner consumer, and that'll be interesting to see how this works out. All I got to do is, you know, I'm confident that we're all going to pull through this. It's going to be fine. It's just, you know, I'm thinking, you know, my expectation is a month, maybe a month and a half. Then we'll be having a completely different conversation. I believe we'll be on the other side of it, and I think we'll be a better nation because of it if we all just commit to share best practices, see what's working, and work with each other. You know, that's what this community is about. You know, it is Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, but we got people that are signing in and plugging into this series all across the country. And you know, and if we can add value, you know, that's why we're here, is to help everybody in our community to be able to pull through this in different ways. So if you got any other questions, or if there's anything that you can think of, don't hesitate to reach out to us. With that, we're gonna wrap up this session. Again, make sure that feel free, if you want to learn more about and get a more in-depth access to more resources, subscribe to Manufacturing News Network. That's available on this webpage. Manufacturing News Network is a resource that we're providing for manufacturers. We're providing these interviews on the front end to share best practices, but there's some more information on the back end to be able, for folks that want some more access, to be able to plug into the roundtable discussions that we're doing as well. So with that, we'll wrap this call up. Again, Toni, thank you so much. It has been great to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. And I'm really excited about coming and touring your new facility once you get that. So.
Oh yes, we're very excited about it too. And thank you so much for everything, Jason.
Fantastic. We'll sign off for now. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Have a great one.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.